AM 1260 KLYC, and here we are, and we are broadcasting live right now from the McMinnville Area Chamber of Commerce. It's a Monday morning, Martin Luther King Day. Go Seahawks. It was a wonderful game last night, so it's Seahawks in Denver. It's going to be the Battle of the West in the Super Bowl. Like we mentioned earlier this morning, we're going to be doing, just like we were yesterday, we were at Little Cooperstown in Newburgh, talking to the folks and watching the game. And we're going to be finding a sports bar that we're going to be broadcasting from on Super Bowl day, talking to the folks and, doing the high five. It was fun last night because we had some folks from California that were visiting some friends, and they were at the sports bar. And then we had some Seahawk fans. And so there was a bit of a rivalry going on, especially in the fourth quarter when it was coming down to the last seconds of the game. There were some controversial calls in the game. We won't get into that now, but the folks from California didn't want to talk too much about it at the end of the game. And the folks from Seattle were pretty excited, and we were, yeah, go Seattle. So it was a fun time. Anyway, I digress. We're talking here to Nathan, the CEO of the McMinnville Area Chamber of Commerce, and also Jody Christensen, who works in economic development circles. Jody, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
2014, we're pretty excited about it at the radio station. We've got a lot of plans, and I'm sure you do too. One of the things that we were talking to Jody about a while back was she went to a conference back east. Was it Chicago?
Chicago, FabTech. It's the North America's largest trade show for fabricators. So it was very large equipment producers, and we were able to go with the Oregon Advanced Manufacturing team.
Now, one of the things that we've seen constantly in the last at least couple decades, if not last 30 years, was a migration for manufacturing from the United States outside, because people outside of the United States would work literally for peanuts, and people here want $20 an hour and so on and so forth, and it makes it hard to sell a widget for $1.65 when you have to pay somebody $20 an hour with benefits to make it. And so we saw manufacturing go overseas. We're starting to see a reversing of that and having manufacturing come back. Why is that?
Well, there are a number of reasons for onshoring and reshoring. So you're right, they were penciling it out, and it somehow made sense to take it elsewhere. But what we have in the United States that is hard to compete with is a level of production where we really pay attention to the quality. And I think what they've seen over the last decade, and most recently in the last 5 years, is there's a issue with quality when you take it overseas and away from your main manufacturing plant. We've seen a very aggressive onshoring trend. And our companies in McMinnville are experiencing growth because of that. There was the sort of romance of taking it somewhere else, but we're really concerned about the control. It's coming back, and it's coming back very aggressively. So we had mentioned that I went to FabTech earlier. What they were telling us, we attended a few seminars while we were on the trade show floor, and they're saying 2014 is going to be a huge year. Growth, expenditures, companies willing to take risk. There's a very strong sense of confidence about this year. Now, that being said, we know that the economy is cyclical, and so they're really saying companies are ready to make the move now, knowing that in 3 to 5 years there may be a little bit of a downturn, but right now they're really aggressive about taking new markets.
Now, as far as I have some personal experience, one of the it must have been 20 years ago. Boy, time flies when you're having fun. But I owned a cellular phone store in Idaho, in Fruitland, Idaho. A small town in rural Idaho was a service center for AirTouch Cellular. And one shipment of phones, and I won't mention the manufacturer, you'll know why in a minute, but 75% of the phones out of the box were defective. They didn't work. And we just had to pull them all and send them back. And they were made in China. And so we had some personal experience, and you can't run a business, you can't sell a product when 50 to 75% of them out of the box aren't working. And so what we're seeing is hopefully some of the manufacturing come back into the shores of the U.S.
You're absolutely right. You have to build trust with your product, and if your customer is constantly having issues with the product, that's costing everybody money. It's costing you money because you have to do rework. It's costing them money because they have to send it back. And so it's really penciling out that if you make it right the first time, you're going to make more money than if you have to keep reworking it. It's just not, it doesn't make good business sense.
So how does that translate here to Yamhill County?
Well, so Yamhill County has over 230 manufacturers, and I'm primarily talking about manufacturers because at McMinnville Economic Development Partnership, that's the core of our work. What we're seeing is, as I said, aggressive growth. You're going to see some physical expansions of facilities. You're going to see more hiring, higher skills because they're looking for that quality control. You're going to see new types of products being produced in our county. So I think it's a really exciting time. And if I could, I'd like to share with you that on January 31st at the Armory at 9:30 will be a job fair. Now, this is something really exciting because we haven't had a full-out job fair in our county for quite some time. So we are really excited to be able to bring our companies together, and we're working with the WorkSource Center, Job Growers, and the Chamber to really get out and advertise to our businesses, come here, tell people about the job openings that you have, and really make sure that those that are looking for jobs, this is a great one-stop shop for them.
January 31st?
January 31st at the Armory from 9:30 till 12:30. And if you want information, you can certainly email me at Jody, Jody, at McMinnvilleEDP.com, and I can get you all of the information that you need.
Now, that's going to be a Friday morning.
It is, right after greeters for the chamber. So the greeters will be taking place at the WorkSource Center, and just down the road at the Armory, we'll kick off the job fair at 9:30.
And so what we'd like to do as a radio station, we'd like to tag along. We usually come to greeters and do some reports there, and we'll come to the job fair and talk to folks and just see what kind of jobs are out there and get the word out.
Excellent. That would be wonderful.
Well, thank you for being with us this morning. And Nathan, how are you doing? I see you're making some notes there.
I'm doing very well, thank you.
So you've been on the job here as the new CEO at the McMinnville Area Chamber of Commerce since first of the year, I believe.
Officially, yes, as title. And I've been here in McMinnville for 69 days.
So how was it, what are you writing down in your notes there? What are some of the things that you want to talk about?
Well, I hate using filler words like and so I was trying to plan out some of the topics that we should talk about. I think one of the ones I'm really excited about is we're launching an annual economic forum lunch. This is a program that we want to see happen every year. We're going to videotape it. We're going to do some good note taking this first year. And then every year we're going to come back together and we're going to talk more about what did we say last year? What did we look for to happen in 2014? What did not? Let's celebrate our successes. Let's look at what we didn't do and plan ahead. I think what I'm really excited about is that the chamber is really looking for people to come together and just talk about the good things, not really focus on the bad things, talk about the hope and not really about what went bad. And then to set some goals, almost as a community. And we're going to have a state representative. Jody remembers her name. I'm forgetting who it will be.
Right. So we've invited Karen Godden, who is the Innovation Trade Director for the state in the Economic Development Department. And she has been a great supporter of McMinnville and the efforts that we have around our recruitment. And she's been very supportive of some of the work we've been doing at the Oregon Economic Development Association. So we're delighted to have her as our guest.
And then we're looking for a county representation, and then we'll also have our own Jody Christensen there to talk about what's happening locally.
So do we have a date for that yet?
February 13th. It is a Thursday. It'll be at Michael Book. It'll be about 11:30 is when we'll start gathering. Have a nice lunch there. And the cost for potential chamber members and guests will be $15. For employees of any chamber member, it should be $5.
How long will it last?
We're looking at about an hour and a half. I love the asset that time is, but you can't save it, you can't keep it, you can't spend it elsewhere. And so I like to set my time really strictly so that everybody gets a gift of time at the end and we don't go long. So that's what we're looking for.
One of the things that they do say is that those who don't plan to fail. So what we're looking at here is developing goals as a community as far as where we want to grow and some areas of opportunities, hopefully, that we sometimes, as you get together as a group and start penciling things on the whiteboard, you come up with some really good ideas.
That's the goal. And this first one, we'll see how that actually comes together. I believe this will be more of a presentation from the speakers, less than group work sessions or goal planning by the community as a whole. However, this is the first jump, and then the following subsequent years, we can probably modify this and change this to what demand requires. So whoever comes, and I hope that all of your listeners will come, because this is not a chamber-only event. This is for the community, and that's a big part of why we're doing it. We hope that they'll come and give us feedback and talk to us about what they missed or what they would have liked to see. And I think exciting for me is that we're going to record this. We're really going to look at it, and we're going to talk to people about it. And then we're going to use it and say, here's what we talked about. We're going to get the message out.
One of the strengths that you bring to the table as you come to McMinnville is you're really big on networking, getting out there and meeting folks. You're still doing that, getting out and meeting the people here in McMinnville?
I am. I was thinking, okay, so 70 days on the job today. My listening tour is what I launched that first week, and I have had roughly 62 conversations so far. And I think around holidays, that's pretty good. I got more coming up this week, and my goal was to have 100 of them done within my first 100 days in this position. I think I'm going to hit that and then some. And quite frankly, they've been amazing.
What kind of common denominators are you hearing?
There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of pride in McMinnville. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of people who live here because they choose to live here, and they're very quick to say that. It's not the outcome of a job choice. It is their choice to be here, and then they make it work. And then because of that, I see a lot of hope and a lot of vision casting for the future that they want to see. In those conversations, it is primarily a very consistent view that people are putting forward. It's something that I think is kind of unique to a town like McMinnville that comes from a deep-rooted, strong heritage in farming, heritage in agriculture, heritage in growing what the MIP did in '69, and kind of coming up that history. And I'm poring over these history documents, but there's this heritage that we're going to hold on to. But we're not stuck there. And I get a lot of sense of that we're looking at where they're excited for the next thing. What is the next thing that's going to come in here? Driven by Jody and her conversations and the different groups that she's talking to. I mean, people are just really excited. Yeah, she shakes her head whenever you say anything nice about her, but it's true. She's excitable, and she gets people excited. And I think there are other companies that she connects very well with that are exciting. And then in the chamber, we're really looking towards innovation. What the next thing is we're going to be doing.
Well, Jody, you excited about 2014?
Well, I am. Thank you for the vote of confidence. I think what we have to remember when we talk about the strength of McMinnville is that it is a community based in authenticity. We're not trying to create something that doesn't make sense here. And so I shake my head when people call me out, because I'm not alone in this. I am honored to do this work, but I stand strong with a number of great partners. And I think that is what's unique about McMinnville, is that we're all in. And when I go into a room, I really feel I have many people with me. So I don't represent just myself or just MEDP, McMinnville Economic Development Partnership. I represent the community and our hopes and dreams for the future. So it's a great place. And I can tell you that some people think of McMinnville as a small town. It really is more than that. There's so much going on, and there's so many wonderful companies here. And as I said earlier, my work is primarily manufacturing. We have globally competitive innovators who are working and living in McMinnville. It's an amazing place, and I think that our hope for 2014 is that it continues to be a bright future, and that those companies are successful. And our job, the Chamber's job, my job, the city's job, is to make sure that they have an environment where they can thrive.
So 2014, it's kind of My wife and I have been talking about this a lot as far as the radio station. It's our job to be kind of there when this happens and talk to you and to ask the questions and when appropriate and to say, folks, there's some pretty exciting things going on here. And so more to come as we continue to talk with the economic development folks. One of the things that, one of the campaigns that we're running as a radio station is Go For It Yamhill County. And we're looking for stories of successes in businesses as we go out there and, we sell radio advertising, so we have a chance to talk to a lot of businesses about the future. And we're finding optimism. And we do find there's some amazing stories out there. And as we come across those, we want to share them.
That's fantastic. And I think what you've identified is, as Nathan was saying, we're community-based in agriculture. And I think it's a pioneer spirit. I think that we've gone through a couple of years, maybe a few, that have been challenging, but that's what makes us stronger. And I think people have realized that you can't stay in a place and think that it's going to change on its own. You really have to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and say, I'm going for it. And so I think you've got something really brilliant in your work and going out into the community and sharing the good stories, because we inspire each other. We can get stuck in the negativity, but that's not helpful. What we need to do is we have a fabric in this community that's extraordinary, and we're all in. As I said, any one of us don't walk into a room by ourselves. We represent many people, and they're with us, and they're a phone call away, and they're a meeting away. And so it really is, I don't want to be a Pollyanna about this, but I do believe there's something in the air. And 2014, all indicators are there's going to be great things happening. To give proof to that, we had some businesses in the Newburgh area approach us as a radio station, say they want to buy some advertising and buy a half-hour commercial or a half-hour program, and they just want to get on, and it's a group of them, and they want to talk about business and how it looks and what's going forward. And so you've got businesses out there that are thinking economic development, and we talk to them, and they haven't even talked to the county or you or whatever. They've just talked amongst themselves about, let's get this out to the people and talk about it. And they approached us, said, can we buy some advertising time to do this? And our response was, well, you bet you can talk. We'd love to come and talk to you anyway. And so we're looking forward to putting that together. That's fantastic. And I think you're going to find that in most of our communities. There's some pretty extraordinary things happening in Amity and Willamina and Sheridan and Carlton and Dayton and Dundee. I mean, and Lafayette. There's really great stories happening all over the county. So I think you're seeing something that's very real, not made up.
We played a part of the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream this morning, and the great speech. Great message there, and I think in some ways that ties into what we're talking about right now.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. And I think that, we've talked about this in the past when I was on the show, that when you have a sense of confidence in your building, in your business, you want to make sure that you're building a strong program for yourself. So I do want to say to people that it's really important that you have a solid business plan, that you have a good relationship with your banker, that you understand the financials of your business. While you are hopeful and excited and you're looking forward to the future of your business, I do want to say it's very important to make sure that you have a strong foundation. So be inspirational, entrepreneurial, but make sure that you have a solid business plan. We have resources in our office. You can certainly pop up the stairs at the chamber, and I can give you some great connections. You want to make sure that you have strength with a banker, that you have a good working relationship and a trusted relationship. And then you take the worry out of, is this the right thing to do? When you have good, solid data in front of you, you can make great decisions.
That's good advice. So if you've got a great idea, maybe for expansion or a new business, get some advice, get some mentors. We've talked to, don't want to use these examples on the air because I haven't asked their permission to do so. But there are people that are going into new lines of businesses that they haven't done before and are being successful at it. Hopefully we'll talk to him about that in the future. But it's a great idea, and in fact, recommended that you get advice from, I don't know if we have any SCORE representatives here, Service Corps of Retired Executives?
Absolutely. So you can go to score.org and check out who our counselors are in the area. They're fantastic. And they're really willing to spend quite a bit of quality time with entrepreneurs and even existing businesses. It's always good to get a health checkup on your plan, make sure that you're course correcting when you need to. We also have the Small Business Development Center located in Salem, but they have their counselors out here in Yamhill County all the time, and we can easily get you set up with one of them as well. You know, I've said this in the past, my job is not to know everything. It's to know a little bit about a lot of things. So I know great people who are subject matter experts in their field, and I can get people connected very quickly.
And they want you to succeed. It's not like you don't feel like you have to go in and sell your idea. If it sells on its own, then it's a great idea. But take it from my personal experience. You go in and lay out your business plan for them, and with the county and with Jody and her folks, sometimes they have some great ideas, and you think, oh, I didn't think about that.
Right. I think as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you get very excited about what it is you want to do. And that's part of why you're doing it. But you want to make sure that you have a neutral person reviewing your work and making sure that you haven't missed something. Because when we get, for lack of a better term, kind of intoxicated by an idea, you can run away before you're ready. And, you know, 80% of small businesses fail. I mean, that's a fact. And I think some of it is they have the passion, they have the product, but the foundation is part of what sometimes is missing in that piece. So you can kind of draw it back to that.
And I think part of that too is sometimes, I don't know if it's a pride issue or whatever, but sometimes they don't reach out for help until it's too late.
Truer words were never spoken. They come to us too late. You can see it. And that if they had just come to us a few months earlier, where you can get them connected with a trusted bank, when you can get them connected to a counselor, when a company is really struggling to survive, it's very challenging. But if you can get them when they start to kind of have an inkling something might not be working, there's when we can really help them make a difference by connecting them to great experts.
Yeah, don't wait till you're ready to file for bankruptcy. Start coming when you're starting to have a month or two that you're having, you know, this is not looking good. Maybe we need to reach for some help. And I know there's a pride aspect there and maybe an embarrassment a little bit. Don't feel that way.
Right. I think what's really important is that these conversations that we have with businesses are confidential. We don't share the information with anyone. The counselors don't share the information with anyone because at the end of the day, we want you to be successful. So you have to be able to lay it out. And we want to make sure that companies feel comfortable in that environment. So we're not going to, we're not a publicity agency. Our job is to have quiet conversations behind closed doors to help people get the resources that they need.
You're not going to be Simon of American Idol.
No, I'm not.
Nathan, what do you think?
Well, I agree with everything Jody says, and that's exactly why chambers of commerce exist, and that's exactly why there are relationships with economic development partnerships like this. You know, I come into this role having failed a small business and running big business, and I'm passionate about it. And I've put together the business plans, and I've had people just sit there in front of something I spent hours on working on, just rip it apart. And it was never out of, we don't want to see you succeed, but it was out of this love and this passion. Like, we totally understand that you're an entrepreneur, you want to do this, but if you don't tackle these issues now, they will get you when you can least afford it. And that's exactly, I think, why that's a passion I have. It's a passion Jody has. It's a passion that many people have in this area. If there are small businesses ready to launch an idea that somebody's tickling over, one of the best things you can do is get in front of other people and talk about it. Because every time you talk about it, you hash through a different idea. Something else comes up. You start honing this vision, and that vision that you're going to kick out at some point into a business plan. The chamber exists. Some people look at us and go, well, you're just another marketing avenue. We're not. Really, we're not. What we do, we're facilitators. We're facilitators of discussions. We're facilitators of thought. We want to put thought leaders in front of those that need thoughts. We want to grow up another session of leaders who are standing in front and saying, well, here's an idea. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. If you're doing greeters on Friday morning, hopefully you're building your personal network and your business network. And then you're taking that to the next level. We want to start things and facilitate and move forward, and then bring the businesses and the community together. I was also looking at another way the chamber can help facilitate this. Is a lot of entrepreneurs start after their Monday through Friday job, right? They're starting in the evenings, they're starting in the mornings. The chamber's getting ready to launch an education part of our website. It's all going to be online courses that people can take. They're very inexpensive. They're take at your own speed, but they're going to give you some top-notch training from your computer, from your home. And that's a big thing when it comes to getting ready. So talking about putting a business plan together, you have no idea. All the tools are free, but you don't really know how to use them. Mm-hmm. This is where that education part comes in. So somebody thinking of this idea could just take one of these courses online, just through our website, and just get to it through Cogno Education. It's great. But Jody said it, and I just want to jump on and say exactly. That's exactly what we think.
I think one of the biggest mistake of businesses is they don't write a business plan. And a business plan, don't let that term scare you. All it is writing down your ideas on paper and say, okay, what are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? What are my challenges? What are my goals? What are my benchmarks? How much money do I want to be making? That's essentially, in a nutshell, a business plan. And it's amazing to me how many small businesses don't have a business plan. And they think of that, I don't want to do a business plan. Well, I tell you what, you really need to.
Absolutely. And I think it can be overwhelming to think about documenting what you want to say. And I always tell people you're telling the story of your business. And if you can't put it down on paper, there's some things you need to work out. You need to be able to describe what it is you're doing. And I've even told people no more than 3 pages. So just start to document who are you, what is the product, and start to look at what your financial structure will be. That's the basic. Get that down on paper, and let's get you connected to a specialist, an expert in business planning. It's not my job to review your business plan, it's their job. That's what they do every single day, and they're going to be able to look at it very quickly and say, here's the gap. Here's what I need. I don't understand this. And that's all. All you're doing is building a case for a bank. That's it. That's ultimately what you're doing. And you're trying to create the story of, at the end of all of this, when you're ready to retire, what are you selling?
A business plan and developing your business, making it up as you go, not a good idea.
Oh my goodness. No, that might be okay for when I make dinner at night, but that's not good for a business, because you're going to get in the day-to-day of your business, and you can get easily distracted by that. You need to make sure that you're always standing 5 years down the road. What am I building to? What am I going to? What decision am I making today that's going to impact that 5 years down the road? You really need to have that discipline to do that. I understand it's hard too. I'm not expecting that it's something that just anyone can do it. It's a muscle that you have to grow and have to continually make sure that you're checking into the plan.
Okay, as we conclude this interview, we need to wrap it up here, getting close to 8 o'clock. In fact, a little after 8 right now. How do people contact you? Nathan, you had something you wanted to add.
I was just going to jump in and say yes, and I had a great conversation with Cellar Ridge, and if you want to talk to somebody who started a business, John Mead started his business in 2006 with a plan, had been working on a plan for a couple of years, and because of that business plans aren't static, they grow, they flex with time, they flex with the economy, and it's almost like writing a New Year's resolution. Every year, this is a perfect time to look at your business plan and say, where am I supposed to be right now? Where do I want to be next year? Where do I want to be in 5 years? And really kind of morph that around. Feel free to give us a call at 503-472-6196 or email me at innottingham@mcminnville.org. Just go to mcminnville.org to find my email address right there. But we'd love to talk to people. And we are a resource for the community, member or not. That's fine. We're here for McMinnville, and we want to hear from McMinnville.
Jody, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, I'd Google McMinnville Economic Development Partnership and we should come up right away, but it's www.mcminnvilledp.com and you can, there's a contact us button right there. We're at the top of the stairs at the Chamber of Commerce, right by the pool across from Dutch Brothers. So if you want to come up and say hi, that's fine. But we'd love to hear from you and we answer emails. We can give you a quick contact or you can give us a jingle. You'll find our number online.
And if you want to hear this interview again, you can simply go to our website, KLYC.us, go to the YouTube picture on the front page, and you'll get a list of interviews, including some of the interviews we did this weekend at Habitat for Humanities in Newburgh. And last time we had so much fun at the little Cooperstown with the game. And then, of course, this morning, you'll find the most recent interviews in the top of the list, and this will be at the top of the list here in about an hour or so. KLYC.us, and just go to the YouTube link. Every interview we do, we put online, so if you want to listen to it, maybe it was you we interviewed and you want to hear it, you can simply do that, as is the case with this interview. Nathan, great talking to you this morning.
Thank you.
Good luck 2014, Jody, as well. Thank you for allowing us to come in here and visit with you and start your day off Monday, and happy Martin Luther King Day to you. AM 1260 KLYC, and more to come. It's The Cruise on a Monday morning, 8:04 the time. Glad to have you with us this morning.